The deadline for EPFO submissions have been extended again for the third time by another 10 to 11 days, if I'm not mistaken. Karthik, all yours now.
15 days, in fact. 26th June, which was yesterday, was the deadline. In this case, specifically to opt for the higher pension scheme as part of EPFO, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't know how much time we've got. I think we can spend about 2 minutes or so on this. Now, what really happened was I'm still stuck with RBI, EPFO decided to offer higher pension to eligible employees, members of the EPFO community, to opt for higher pension after their retirement. Up until now, the division was fairly simple, that there were two components in all the contributions you and your employers made to the EPFO account. One went to the Provident Fund, which you received as lump sum at your retirement, which according to EPFO rules is 58 years of age. And then there was this pension component, and this pension component was a much smaller component which could be monthly equated and deposited back into your bank account. Now, the limit for this was about 5,000 rupees up until 1995, got increased to about 6,500 rupees subsequently up until 2013 or 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Now, EPFO came up with this suggestion that employees or members of EPFO can opt for a higher pension up to 50% of their basic salary. And to opt for that, your employer's contribution to Provident Fund would be reduced by 1.6%, and your employer's contribution to your pension would increase by that 1.6% to enable up to 50% of your average of your last drawn basic salary after retirement. Now, that deadline was meant to be in the month of May. 3rd May was the deadline initially. That got extended to 26th June. Rightly so, it got extended the first time because till the 3rd May deadline lapsed, EPFO had not disclosed the formula for calculating this higher pension. Subsequently, that formula came out, and that formula was for those who were in service up till 30th of September 2014, the calculation would be the last 12 months of your basic salary plus DA in the case of government employees, an average of the last 12 months of salary into 35 being the maximum number of years of service or the actual number of years of service divided by 70. The magic number 70 because 35 divided by 70 is 1 upon 2 into average of basic salary is 50% of your basic salary becomes your pension for as long as you live. Now, 50% of that is accrued to the spouse, and 25% of that after your demise. After the spouse's demise, 25% of that is due to maximum of 2 children until they attain the age of 25. Come back to the deadline. Now, 3rd May, beyond 3rd May, the formula got disclosed, but what also got disclosed was that there is a cap to this 50% pension, higher pension. And that cap is 15,000 rupees a month for those who retired after the 30th of September 2014. For those who retired before the 30th of September 2014, the cap is at 7,500 rupees. Now, so it makes sense for somebody who, let's say, has an average basic salary of 30,000 rupees a month will continue getting 50% of that for their life. Now, the point is, EPFO website, as always, threw up unpleasant surprises to those who wanted to apply for this higher pension. Number one, there was very complex documentation required, paperwork required between the employer and the employee, both jointly signed, uploaded on the EPFO website, because this contribution will be made from the employer's contribution, which is part of your CTC, but the employer's contribution has to increase by 1.6%, reduced from your pension fund, from your provident fund, increased to your pension fund, 1.6%. So, employer and employee jointly had to file a documentation, a declaration, and the proof of the last 12 months of salary statement for those who retired up to 30th September 2014, and 60 months of basic salary, 5 years of your salary statements for those who retired or are still in service after 30th of September 2014. Collation of all these documents, these joint declarations between employer and employee, And then the mammoth task of uploading all this on the EPFO website, which is always completely infested with glitches of all kinds. So a lot of people went and complained to EPFO saying that, you know what, we have all the documents ready, we are unable to upload them and get them verified on the EPFO website. So how about giving us another leeway? And that leeway has come by yet another extension in deadline by 15 days this time. So instead of that deadline lapsing yesterday, 26th of June, it's now open till 11th of July.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that this deadline too will be extended? Are you looking at the likelihood? Mohammed?
And I'll add one more question, which was this information about employers, and we touched upon this last time also. What happens to companies that don't exist anymore or employers that have merged? Is that also been clarified, or that is?
Your EPFO account is at an individual level to begin with, right? So you have a UAN, a unique account number, which is unique to you as an employee. So for companies that have gone under, companies that have shut shop, would have had an EPFO account when they were operational, and that money which was due to you every month would have been transferred to your account, the UAN account. So if that company does not exist anymore, it doesn't matter. You as a UAN EPFO member exist, and that is what is important. Assuming you are presently working somewhere in formal employment, then that formal employer also has an EPFO account, and when you opt for higher pension, the monthly contribution of your employer to your EPFO account will reduce on the provident fund side and increase on the pension side for you. So it doesn't matter if companies you have worked in previously do not exist anymore. It could pose a problem if you have worked in those companies for the last 5 years and you don't have your salary statements. Then it becomes a problem. But then again, there are mechanisms even for companies that have gone down to remotely assist past employees with financial statements. Coming to your question, sir, I will not be surprised if that deadline gets pushed again, but I will be very pleasantly surprised if these glitches are eliminated in these 15 days and those who wish to opt for higher pension are able to do it barrier-free.
Because there is another deadline that's approaching, because the employers will have to approve these increased PF contributions by the 30th of September. And you know, you have July 11th now as the final deadline for submitting. So this also crunches upon the time that the employers have to, you know, collate all the people who have, you know, data of all the people who wanted increased EPFO contributions and approve them by the 30th of September. So we are running against another deadline, even if they want to, you know, keep going with this. The question I want to ask also is this, as he was talking about, you know, employers who have gone under, companies that cease to exist. You know, right now you're looking at big companies which are not depositing their PF contributions. I mean, there's no mystery over here. That's what Byju's is accused of. And I don't think Byju's is alone, because this is a problem that is faced by many working professionals in India across the board, isn't it? The fact that your employer has to deposit the PF contributions come what may.
By law, by labor law, it is mandated, incumbent upon any organization to deposit this contribution to a member's or an employee's, a permanent employee's EPFO account. So if there have been lapses, if there have been delays, and let's assume that a company or two may go under now, it becomes their absolute fiduciary obligation to remit this money into the employee's account. It could get delayed, but it is mandated as per labor laws by the government of India that this contribution must be made. So even if there have been lapses for a couple of months here or there, if the company were to dissolve as well, whatever recovery is made of that company going insolvent or getting sold or whatever change of ownership, all these dues will have to be credited to the employee's accounts.
All right, that's the truth as far as EPFO is concerned. Deadline extended to the 11th of July. And bear in mind, all working professionals over there, whichever companies you're working for, please do ensure and check whether your employer is making those monthly provident fund contributions and they are getting deposited in your account. Check for your UAN, as Karthik was talking about, and check in your UAN account whether your employer has been crediting the provident fund on a regular basis, because there is no guarantee. these days, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the biggest of companies out there, they have TV advertisements for which they spend crores, and then brand endorsements for which they spend crores, and they don't deposit your Provident Fund contribution.